July 14th, we start a new cycle with the new moon in Cancer. This is a highly significant, impactful cycle because we have this barballed basket. I made a previous video going over this basket in more detail and depth, but it's very significant because the outer planets, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, and Jupiter, they're all at 4 degrees in this cycle. And this has not happened with the planets so closely together in this basket formation in thousands of years. This is a cycle within a cycle within a cycle that is converging, starting, ending, civilization changes, economy changes, financial changes. There are major shifts unfolding. It's not a one-day event. This will unfold for years to come, but for the next 2 years, we'll really see this impacting our lives, everything, everywhere. So let's see what this means for the crypto and New York Stock Exchange. I'm recording this July 13th at about 9 p.m. This forecast might be a bit different due to the numerous amounts of aspects, configurations that are going on. So let's get into it. This is the chart of the new moon general transits. The moon rules this new moon. So what the moon is talking to, how it's talking to different planets is highly significant. The moon is next to Mercury retrograde. It is confusion in Cancer, emotional confusion, setbacks, it's delays. Squaring to Saturn in Aries, it is limiting, it is the restrictions, it's the delays. So challenging delays, market delays. Next to that, Mercury in Cancer, it's just emotional chaos. Saturn is getting ready to station retrograde on the 26th, though it's slowing down already during this new moon. We also have North Node at 0 degrees of Pisces. This is also significant. It's getting ready to move into Aquarius, which is the lowest point of the business and economic cycle. A lot of information and news coming out about business, economies, finances could be disruptive as well to this market. On top of that, we have this barballed basket. Now, it's at its most apex exact from the 17th through the 21st, because all the planets will be at 4 degrees. Jupiter right now during this new moon is at 3 degrees. It's almost there. The energy is building, and I find with especially the outer planets that as the energy builds up to the exact apex of the transit, the energy is the strongest as it's building up. So this is the 14th. Starting tomorrow on the 15th, these outer transits are going to start having exact aspects to each other. So Pluto sextile to Neptune, trying to Uranus, and Uranus sextile to Jupiter, trining to Pluto. That is amazing. It's wonderful. We could say, yes, we're going to have these market blow-off tops, market rallies. The point of concern is Jupiter opposite to Pluto. This is finance. This is a wealth signature. This is a signature that is, I don't want to say it's the strongest, but it's the only thing that is in this opposition in this basket. This is where it's cutting off the energy. Cutting off the energy, not allowing it to fully express itself. Most of the time, Mercury will be retrograde. And then on the 26th, Saturn goes retrograde. So there's changes with the planets as well. Changing signs, changing directions, causing confusion, causing some chaos, over-optimism, overextension, bubbles bursting, illusions bursting. It's a lot. Anything that can happen will likely happen in this cycle. I see this is an extremely unique cycle that we're in. One thing I have to say is Mars is not in any challenging aspects to any of these outer planets. It's next to Uranus, sudden unexpected. Shifts in the market, sextile to Saturn, trining to Pluto, money. Large amounts of money moving easily, flowing easily. But that doesn't always mean it's a market run. And especially with these planets, outer planets at 4 degrees, it's something will likely occur that will stand out in this cycle. And I've been looking at these charts quite a long time trying to figure out, okay, which is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? When is it going to go up? When is it going to go down? And I feel that the combination with the geopolitical events that will be occurring during this time, this is the month before, or the cycle before the eclipses. On August 12th, we have a solar eclipse in Leo, leaders. Events with leaders involved will also be influencing this market. It's a month out, but those events usually, again, build up to the exact date of the eclipses. I feel like this is going to be more of a chaotic cycle than anything else. There is potential for market runs, market rallies, market crashes, market corrections. Everything is possible within this cycle. Financial shifts are possible within these cycles. Collapses of currencies, collapses of finances in different countries perhaps, depending on how this is hitting them, where this is hitting them in their charts. Uranus and Pluto in Aquarius, that could be with financials. Jupiter, though, in Leo, that's the leaders. Maybe leaders over-expanding their power, causing disruption. Uranus in Gemini, having these monumental ideas, going after their ideas to such a degree that it is in conflict with other countries, other leaders, other people, causing chaos, confusion, commotion. I see this as a highly explosive month, highly volatile, highly changing, temperamental. Like I said, anything that can happen will happen in this cycle. These transits are outer planets. The markets from now up until right before that full moon, I feel it's going to be the craziest, with news, information affecting the markets. The 20th is where it gets a little bit confusing. Jupiter trine to Neptune and Jupiter opposite to Pluto. Two polar opposites here. Euphoria, hope, over optimism or optimism. Jupiter opposite Pluto, wealth, finances, challenges with those finances, declines within markets. So this could be that the 14th through the 18th, maybe even the 19th, the markets have these rallies. Possibly. This is a scenario. And then the 18th, the 19th, 20th, the markets start to deteriorate from outside reasons, geopolitical, economic. The events occurring could be absolutely anything. It could be something monumental. I did write a report, a very detailed report for Bitcoin for this cycle. So if you want a more detailed focus or look into this cycle for Bitcoin, go check out my Patreon and the forecast. This is the New York Stock Exchange for the new moon. From now through the 23rd or the 22nd, Mercury is retrograde still. And I'm making note of this because I just recorded part of this video looking at the wrong chart for Bitcoin. I was looking at New York Stock Exchange transits for Bitcoin. That is a classic Mercury retrograde thing right there, that confusion, having to do it over. So just be aware of that. Mercury is still an influence. It is still causing the chaos. And the chaos, confusion, could be the loudest and the strongest also during this period. I find personally, and I know I'm not the markets, but that Mercury retrograde is usually the most intense towards the end when it's about to change direction. The moon rules New York Stock Exchange's chart. That's a positive. That's a plus for New York Stock Exchange. Neptune is on the transiting midheaven. It's a transiting angle of the chart. It could turn out to be something very helpful, very useful, very positive. And I'm talking more about the second half of the cycle, when these outer planet transits in the general charts are starting to move away from each other. During the new moon, the moon squaring to Jupiter is a concern, and the sun squaring to Jupiter, because that happens on the 16th. So for this new moon on this Tuesday, which is tomorrow, this could be influencing this market in a greed, more of a positive momentum, starting off this cycle. Especially with a new moon in the first house. It rules the moon rules New York Stock Exchange's chart. The 15th, we also have Sun trine to natal midheaven. That's also extremely positive, influencing this cycle. The Sun squaring and the Moon squaring to Jupiter, that will likely arise during this cycle as a very challenged period. It could be when Mars enters into Cancer, which happens during this cycle, activating the square to natal Jupiter. But for now, I could say that this market looks like it could start off in a positive direction, with Venus trine to natal Venus, Sun trine to natal midheaven. Nothing is aspecting the natal Sun, which is not good, not bad, but that's not an influence. Mercury squaring to the Moon, sextile to Mars. Action. Okay, this is looking to be a very active cycle. Greed, yet pullbacks. Going forward, yet pulling back. Moving up, yet having to take a few steps back, especially with that Mercury still retrograde, Saturn will station retrograde in the 10th house. That will likely also cause these pullback of the prices. It's in the 10th house. It's very important. It's one of the planetary rulers this cycle, probably for the next cycle and the next few cycles, well, next 2 years. But moving retrograde, it is retracing back, moving back down, moving backwards, retracing its steps, retracing the prices. The 18th, Lilith sextile to natal Pluto. This is positive. This is a positive transit. This could also be helping to influence the new moon. I know it's 4 days out, the actual transit, but it's an outer long-term transit. The moon is in its natal home sign. This full week could almost be like make-believe, like everything's wonderful, no problems in sight, not knowing that there's problems eroding underneath the foundation, or even at the top, at the highest point of the markets, not knowing that something could be occurring in the upcoming days. Lilith sextile to Pluto, it is taking risks, overtaking the risks, not caring about the risks that are being taken because everything seems to be wonderful. Breaking the rules, taking the risks, and getting rewards. But this transit could be influencing the week as well, even though it's happening on a Saturday. Now, because the New York Stock Exchange is closed on the weekends, some of the outer transit planets with this barbell basket, it might not influence it, but I feel like all of this is going to influence all the financial markets. The 20th is a very hectic day, and it's hectic in New York Stock Exchange too. Sun is squaring natal Neptune, the ruler of this 10th house, while Mars is sextile to natal Uranus. Unexpected surprises, sudden movements. Mars is action, but Neptune is also important, and Neptune was on the transiting midheaven during the new moon. This could be revisiting something that occurred on the new moon, meaning if the price was negative, it could be revisiting that negative momentum. If it's positive, it could be coming back into positive momentum or retracing back to where the price was during the new moon. Because this isn't a square, this is a challenge. We also have Mars here, and both of them are happening within 2 minutes of each other. This could be higher volatility. This could be sudden reactions to what's happening in the world, because we have those Jupiter transits with Jupiter opposite Pluto, Jupiter trining to Neptune, as the Sun is squaring to Neptune. So the Sun is squaring to natal Neptune in the 4th house, and Pluto and Jupiter are opposite to each other, the 8th and the 2nd house. Because it's happening in these houses, this could be a problem, a challenge, especially with Jupiter and Pluto both squaring to natal Venus in a money house, the Taurus, the 11th house. I do see for New York Stock Exchange, this could have more of a challenge, especially during this 20th, leading 18, 19, 20th time frame, especially with the Pluto opposite to Jupiter. The houses that it's in, what the planets it's talking to in its chart. Venus is also a financial planet. So the 20th, 18th through the 21st could be a challenge because of the Jupiter opposite Pluto, and aspecting natal Venus, squaring natal Venus, causing a challenge, disruption. Mars, though, is here. Maybe it rebounds very quickly. It could be even on that day the markets have a severe, not correction, downtrend, downturn, and then suddenly is able to retrace and get back to where it was at the all-time high of that day. Something else that could happen is that Sun squaring to natal Neptune could be what's influencing the 20th. That could be the challenge. And then the 21st comes along, Mars sextile to natal Uranus takes shape, causes the 20th, even the 21st, to be positive. That's one scenario, because we also have Jupiter squaring to Venus. Because Jupiter and Pluto are opposite together and it's squaring to that natal Venus, retriggering, reactivating this Pluto opposite to natal Jupiter on the 20th. So let me say that again. 18th, the week of the 18th through the 24th, that could be a period of challenge. The week could either start off very well, ending very negatively, or it could just be very volatile throughout a lot of the week, and towards the end of the week, it gets very negative challenge towards the end. 27th and 28th, I believe that's that Monday and that Tuesday. Only transit happening is Sun squaring to natal Venus. Also activating Jupiter squaring to natal Venus, because Jupiter and the Sun will also be next to each other. This could pose as a challenge. It's revisiting the challenges from Pluto opposite Jupiter, Jupiter squaring to natal Venus. Now the Sun is squaring to natal Venus. This could be continued challenges. Now, it's not 4 degrees, so Pluto opposite Jupiter might not even be an influence, but it is still triggering this Venus that Jupiter is squaring to, that Pluto has been squaring to for quite a few months and will continue to stay that way for quite a few, next year or two. Yes, I see this first 2 weeks as positive, but yet there are some challenges coming to the surface, coming out, and they could have longer durations of challenges than expected, bringing up, going over some problems that the market can't seem to get past, move past, shattering an illusion from the top. Neptune transiting Midheaven during the new moon. I mean, this could also be signaling a cycle that continues to increase the price. So transiting Midheaven. All right, let me say that again. This could be, because it's on the transiting Midheaven during this new moon, as all the outer planets are exact with their transits to Neptune, this could actually be pushing the markets up higher. Unexpectedly, very strong, almost like a euphoric. The markets could look like they could go up forever, to a degree. And on the 25th, that's the last transit to occur with Pluto and Neptune. And then on the 26th, Saturn will station retrograde. So this could actually be a extreme period of growth for New York Stock Exchange. Markets moving higher, moving past all-time highs. It's possible. I don't know the outside influences, the outside events happening that will greatly and strongly influence this market. It could also be signaling overextension and a pullback, a correction. Crash, like I said, it is on the table. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's there. Keep that in the back of your mind. But with Neptune I feel is going to be an important piece, an important key to these first 2 weeks. During the new moon, take that into account as you're looking, as we're trying to figure out how is this going to move. I feel like this new moon is going to be a strong indicator for how the rest of these next 2 weeks will unfold. July the 14th, Sun will sextile Saturn, and Venus will trine to natal Mars. This is pretty positive, actually. Saturn rules this chart. Mars is the action, triggering financial action, structured financial action, raising prices, moving prices. The moon is sextile to Saturn, trine to natal Uranus. That's also very positive. Now, just from those alone, it is looking as if the market is shaping up to be doing really well. There's a lot of blue and not so much red in this chart. The outer planets are pretty much all positive conversations to natal moon. Neptune is this wild card. It's next to the moon. That could make or break this for Bitcoin. Saturn is still squaring to the natal sun. That is still a concern. That is putting restrictions, putting pressure on the price, not allowing it to grow the way it wants to or move past resistance. This will be one of the main reasons if Bitcoin does not have a market run, a rally during this period. I would say that Saturn is the case. Saturn's going to go retrograde. It's going to retrace its steps as it has been of the actions that the price has been going. It could retrace back down to the low prices that it was at. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen on the 26th, saying as Saturn is retrograde. Look out for challenges starting around the 25th, 26th, due to Saturn stationing retrograde. Prior to that, this new moon through the 18th, this could move the markets pretty well. Aside from those barbell baskets and those outer transits occurring, we have Mars trine Midhaven, Jupiter trine to the moon, moving the prices, expanding the emotional sentiment of the prices, especially Mars here and Jupiter, but Mars truly expanding the actions, the volume of prices. Jupiter usually influences the markets sooner than the exact date that is exact in its transits. So the 17th, the 16th, even the 15th, we could start to see the influence from Jupiter and the moon, which means the 20th, when Jupiter is opposite Pluto and Jupiter is trining to Neptune, that will not be an influence. It will influence it, but it won't be the main influence. Jupiter is in Leo, it's in the 7th house. Pluto is in the 1st house. Relationships, power struggles, law, justice, trying to get justice for crypto market itself. Laws, rules, bills wanting to be passed for the crypto markets could either not get passed and let people's expectations down, or get passed and people's expectations are let down because of it. Putting restrictions on the actual crypto itself, causing power struggles within the market's prices, not allowing growth and expansion to happen due to the laws, rules, and regulations. That's a possible scenario because of that. Jupiter trine to Neptune. Different relationships, different types of communication, different trading strategies, different partnerships. Neptune's next to the moon during this whole configuration during the 20th, when Jupiter is sextile to Neptune. Neptune's next to the natal moon, squaring to Mars. It's ping-ponging. Goes to make a move, but it's wiped out. Aggressive actions taken and having blinders on. Hopeful, wishing, dreaming, optimism, because maybe the market's starting to make some moves, but then there is this correction, downtrend occurring. Saturn here is that limitation. It's like a fake out, maybe. Maybe that's what it is, a fake out. Like, oh, the market's going to go, but then no, it doesn't fake out. That could be a scenario. I feel like leading up to the 20th, 18th, even the 17th, 18, 19, 20th, 21, 22, around that period of time, something will likely happen if the market was moving very well from the new moon, the 14th, moving up. It could course correction, turn it around, move it back in the strong negative momentum, correction, crash. I don't like to say that word, but that's not off the table. 24th, North Node, sextile to natal Pluto, and the 25th is when Neptune, Pluto have their configuration. 24th, this has potential to help the markets out. Positive, people seeing strength, power in the numbers, power in the prices. Hopeful, optimism, maybe starting to come back. 26th, though, Mars squaring to natal Uranus, Saturn retrograde. I see the 26th, maybe even that 25th, having severely challenged markets. Now, if there was not a correction anywhere up until that point, up until the 25th, 24th, then 24th, 25th, 26th, I see the market coming back down, moving back down, retracing its steps back downwards. Again, correction, crash, that could be, but I see severe, strong downtrends, whether it's a crash where it happens suddenly or it happens over periods of time. 28th is a day before that new moon. That could be challenged from that Saturn stationing retrograde. This is going to be extremely interesting for Bitcoin, and I'm very curious to see how it unfolds, especially with this new moon. Having great conversations with natal Saturn and Uranus and Neptune. I feel like Neptune is one of the key components here between Bitcoin's chart, between New York Stock Exchange's chart, that's going to, like I said, make or break the markets. Have them rally, have them rise, or have them tumble, fall, crashes. I will be definitely coming back to look at these charts, look at the forecast again, to see where the markets are at, see what's going on. Remember, I do have a financial Bitcoin forecast or monthly report out. If you'd like to purchase it, it's on my Patreon. You can join and be a member, or you can just purchase it. I'll leave the link below. If you are not able to access Patreon, leave me a message or a comment here, and I will set it up to purchase it a different way. So I can always put it as a membership for YouTube. If you'd like a personal astrology reading to look at your chart during this significant, rare time in all of our lives, my link is in the description below. You can schedule a session and we can talk about your chart, look at your chart, and go over anything that you would like to go over. That's it. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Like, subscribe, and share.